It's one of the most famous personal finance books ever written, and also one of the most debated. In this video, we're breaking down 10 key lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the insights that made Robert Kiyosaki's book a global bestseller, and the controversial ideas that still spark arguments today. Before we dive in, hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell. Because whether you agree with Kiyosaki or not, these lessons can change the way you think about money. From assets versus liabilities to why the rich don't work for money, let's unpack the takeaways you can actually use, and the ones you might want to question. 10. Question the timing and motivation behind stories. Always consider why a particular story is being published now. Is there a genuine news event driving the coverage, or is it a slow news day being filled with speculation? Be particularly skeptical of stories that seem designed to generate trading activity or promote specific investments. Some financial content is essentially marketing disguised as journalism. Ask yourself, who benefits if I act on this information? If someone is promoting a specific investment strategy or product while delivering the news, treat it as advertising rather than objective reporting. Understanding the underlying motivations helps you separate legitimate journalism from content designed to manipulate your financial decisions. 9. Learn to read beyond the headlines. Headlines are designed to grab attention, not provide nuanced information. The actual story often tells a very different tale than the dramatic headline suggests. Practice reading full articles, not just headlines. Pay special attention to buried details that provide context. For example, a headline might scream stocks plummet, but the article might reveal it's just returning prices to where they were 2 weeks ago after an unusual spike. Look for specific numbers, timeframes, and historical context. Often, the most important information is found in the middle paragraphs, not the opening or closing sections. 8. Identify credible sources and avoid fearmongers. Not all financial news sources are created equal. Establish a list of credible, well-researched publications that prioritize accuracy over sensationalism. Look for outlets that provide context, cite multiple sources, and acknowledge uncertainty when making predictions. Be extremely wary of sources that consistently predict doom, promise guaranteed returns, or use excessive emotional language. Quality financial journalism explains complex topics clearly without resorting to fear tactics. Publications like the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, and Reuters typically maintain higher journalistic standards than blog sites or social media influencers promising quick riches or predicting imminent collapse. 7. Develop your own information filter system. Create a systematic approach to consuming financial news. Set specific times for checking financial news rather than constantly monitoring throughout the day. Focus on weekly or monthly summaries rather than daily updates. Maintain a list of key indicators you actually track, perhaps unemployment rates, GDP growth, and your portfolio's quarterly performance, and ignore the rest. Develop the discipline to ask, will this information actually change my long-term financial strategy? If the answer is no, it's probably noise you can safely ignore. Building this filter system protects you from information overload and emotional decision-making. 6. Recognize sponsored content and hidden agendas. Many financial articles and segments are sponsored content or have hidden commercial interests. Watch for subtle product placements, recommendations that benefit the publisher's advertisers, or content that seems designed to drive traffic to specific platforms or services. Financial influencers and media personalities often have affiliate relationships or investments that create conflicts of interest. Look for disclosure statements, but remember that many conflicts aren't properly disclosed. Be especially suspicious of content that creates urgency around financial products or services, as this is often a sales tactic disguised as journalism. 5. Understand market context and historical perspective. Every financial event exists within a broader historical context. When reading about market movements, economic indicators, or policy changes, ask yourself, how does this compare to similar situations in the past? Market corrections of 10 to 20% happen regularly. They're not signs of impending doom, but normal market behavior. Recessions occur roughly every 7 to 10 years in markets, typically recover within 1 to 3 years. Understanding these historical patterns helps you maintain perspective when consuming current financial news. Look for articles that provide this historical context, rather than treating every event as unprecedented or catastrophic. 4. Focus on long-term trends, not daily fluctuations. Daily market movements are largely noise. A single day's performance tells you almost nothing about the health of the economy or your investment strategy. Instead, focus on longer-term trends spanning months and years. When reading financial news, look for patterns rather than isolated events. Is unemployment trending up or down over several months? Are corporate earnings growing consistently across multiple quarters? Are interest rates following a clear directional pattern? Daily volatility is normal and expected. It's the background static of healthy markets. 3. Distinguish between news and opinion. One of the biggest mistakes people make is treating financial commentary as factual reporting. There's a huge difference between the S&P 500 dropped 50 points today, and this market drop signals the beginning of a bear market. The first is news, a factual statement about what happened. The second is opinion, someone's interpretation of what it might mean. Opinion pieces, market predictions, and analyst commentary should be consumed with extreme skepticism. Even the most respected financial experts are wrong about market direction roughly half the time. 2. Understand the business model behind financial media. Financial news outlets make money from clicks, views, and engagement, not from helping you make better investment decisions. The more dramatic the headline, the more likely you are to click. This creates a natural bias towards sensationalism over substance. News channels need to fill 24 hours of programming, which means they'll turn minor market movements into major stories. A 2% market dip becomes breaking news, when historically, it's completely normal market behavior. 1. Separate emotional manipulation from actual information. The most critical skill is recognizing when content is designed to trigger emotional responses rather than inform rational decisions. Financial media often uses fear, greed, and FOMO, fear of missing out, to drive engagement. Words like crash, collapse, soaring, and plummeting are emotional triggers designed to bypass your rational thinking. Before reacting to any financial news, pause and ask, is this making me feel anxious, excited, or pressured to act immediately? If yes, step back and analyze the actual facts being presented. Love it or hate it, Rich Dad Poor Dad has inspired millions to see money differently. And that's the real value of a big idea. Which of these lessons do you agree with? And which do you think Kiyosaki got wrong? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get the debate going. If this breakdown gave you something to think about, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's read the book or needs a push to start. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and always question the money rules you've been taught.